Hello, my name is Lauren Alms. I'm a human resources professional currently enrolled in the MBA program with a focus in human resources management at Fitchburg State University. I want to take a second to thank you in advance for listening to my presentation, and I sincerely hope you enjoy it and maybe even get something out of it. I've included in this page a hyperlink to my LinkedIn page. Please feel free to connect with me. In this presentation, we're going to dive into autonomous vehicles and how they will change several industries, mostly for the better, as long as companies can adapt to the change. Right now, you might find yourself asking a very valid question. What exactly are autonomous vehicles? Or maybe you're asking, I've heard about self-driving cars. Is that what you're talking about? I don't want to spend too much time on the specifics in this presentation, but I do want us all to be on the same page. Most of cars on the roads today have some degree of autonomy. I bet your car has cruise control. That's level 1 autonomy. A lot of cars now have active cruise controls that can stop a car to avoid a collision, or parking assist that will parallel park your car for you. These are part of level 2 autonomy. Today, let's focus on level 4 and 5 autonomy. Level 4 autonomy is the highest level we have achieved today. It involves very little human input and only in extreme circumstances. Level 5 is fully autonomous, and while technology is not there yet, we should have achieved level 5 in the next couple of years. Autonomous vehicles use camera, LiDAR, radar, and GPS systems to drive without the assistance of humans. It utilizes machine learning, so the more autonomous vehicles on the road, the better they will get. Take a second to ask yourself, would I get into a car no person is driving? Is your answer no? Well, you wouldn't be alone. Currently, most people would not. They sack a lack of trust and safety concerns as their main concern. People's perception of autonomous vehicles is going to have to dramatically change before they will be able to create any large disruption to any business. Before you make up your mind and say, I'm never going to get into a car without a driver, I want you to keep some things in mind. Transportation accounts for 27% of greenhouse gas emissions. 94% of accidents are attributed to human error. Americans currently spend more than 6.9 billion hours a year sitting in traffic. Autonomous vehicles are projected to save 30,000 deaths per year in the US alone. That change is coming, and people's perceptions of autonomous vehicles are rapidly evolving. In every market, consumers who don't think driverless cars are safe is going down about 20 to 30%, most notably in the United States. That change is 27% in a single year. It is my belief that one day driving will be like smoking. Most older people you know stop doing it, and some people still drive because they enjoy it and it makes them happy and helps them relax. And that's okay because some people need that. But you still kind of judge them because you know it's not good for you and it can be detrimental to the people around you. There are dozens of industries that will be forced to change as a result of autonomous vehicles. We are going to focus today on some of the most prominent ones. Probably the most obvious industry that will have to adopt to autonomous vehicles is the automotive industry. As you can see here, most major automotive dealerships have in some way made strides in this sector. The industry leader Tesla projects having level 5 autonomy in the next couple years. Elon Musk, the founder and CEO, has made a name for himself in this area and has even gained celebrity status, thanks in part to his company's innovations. In early 2017, Ford dropped its CEO, Mark Fields, for failing to convince the board he was working to make Ford the leader in autonomous vehicles and battery-powered vehicles. He's not just a futurist, he's a very good operating executive, William Ford Jr., while introducing Jim Hackett, the automaker's new chief executive. Jim Hackett comes from a Silicon Valley furniture maker who remains in the position today. Mark Ford's failure to bring Ford into the future and adapt to change cost him his job and could cost Ford years of work towards innovation and down the road, potentially profits. Being on the forward front of autonomous vehicles technology is going to be pivotal to ensure long-term success of any automotive retailer. Changing assembly lines and engineer focus will undoubtedly be a challenging task, but an essential one. Change is hard, but inaction is fatal. The shipping industry is another area that will be greatly changed by autonomous vehicles. As cars no longer require human component, fleets of up to 30 vehicles can be manned by a single person from a tablet. This will unfortunately create a loss of job. But truck driving is not such a great job for humans. It's a career that's physically inert and psychologically exhausting. The American Trucking Association reported a 50,000 driver shortage in 2017. There are currently a lot of startup companies working towards creating fleets of autonomous trucks. Peloton Technology, Embark, and Starsky Robotics all envision a future where shipping is done by autonomous vehicles and not truckers. 4,000 people in the U.S. die every year to trucking-related accidents, and most of these are caused by human error. Imagine a world where automotive deaths are a rarity. Most people know someone who has died or been seriously injured by an automotive accident. With autonomous vehicles, that will soon be a thing of the past. A new fledgling business will soon be coming to the market. So-called robo-taxis could potentially replace traditional car ownership and make transportation cheaper, especially for people living in urban settings. Robo-taxis would be like a rideshare program, but with no driver. The idea is you would subscribe to a car service that would pick you up and drop you off at a set time every day. In addition, you could call a car for unexpected trips. You could get in the same car as other people going your direction to save money, or you could choose to ride solo for privacy. Either way, it would undoubtedly be cheaper than owning your car and being responsible for all the costs that come with car ownership. Uber has already started alpha testing its business model in select cities. Currently in Philadelphia, you can hail a robo-taxi to get you from point A to point B quickly. This will require much more testing and investment capital before it's ready to be rolled out worldwide. More businesses should look into providing this service to their customers. Instead of buying a car from Ford or GM, imagine signing up online for a car to come pick you up every day for work, then leaving to find its own parking space, saving you the time of finding a parking spot and walking into the building. I know some people working in the city that this would save them a lot of time and energy. If if current automotive industry leaders are not already looking to this, then they're already behind the eight ball. Autonomous vehicles could spell disaster for the fossil fuel industry. Most autonomous vehicles are powered by electricity. This is a cleaner, more long-term solution that is better for our environment. Tesla is currently in production of hyper-powered charging stations that can charge an 18-wheel truck in about half an hour. The truck can then go about 500 miles, so transportation is no longer beholden to gas for long route driving. Companies like Shell, BP will need to start producing more sustainable sources of energy. Drilling for oil cannot possibly last forever, and they knew that when they got into this business. Investing in solar plants and wind farms would be beneficial to them. Putting capital into researching a more efficient way to produce energy could potentially be even more lucrative if they can find a better product. As you can see from the graph below, consumers are increasingly more interested in electric vehicles, especially in the areas hardest hit by the effects of pollution in their cities. Note the huge amount of people in China who would prefer an electric vehicle in their car. A quote that I heard in the beginning of the class that's really stuck out to me is it's not the strongest of the species that survive, nor the most intelligent, but the one most adaptable to change. In our recorded lecture, the credit is given to the great scientist and innovator Charles Darwin, but the actual credit for that quote belongs to Leon Megason, a Louisiana professor of business, not the acclaimed evolutionary theorist. It's a common misconception that I only learned researching the topic. But it's a misconception that just goes to show you how tied to business this philosophy really is. It's not a misappropriated idea that was discussing finches and turtles. It's originally and explicitly talking about business. Change is a requirement for businesses to survive. And with the speed that technology is developing, businesses must change faster than ever to keep pace with the world around them. As we've been reading, there are a lot of theories about how best to go about that change. Type A, Type B, top down, bottom up. Different things work for different industries, and we can argue their merits all day. But what I think we can all agree on is the necessity of change for any business to remain competitive. Thank you so much for listening to my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed researching it, and maybe even learned a little something. Huge thank you to our instructor Denise Simeon for all of her insights, and to my husband Scott for keeping the toddler busy while I worked on this presentation. My email address islalms@student.fitchburgstate.edu. If you have any questions or comments, I would love to start a dialogue with you. If you agree or disagree, let me know. Thanks again, everyone.